Hello, welcome back to the Higher Digital Literacy series made in partnership with the St. Paul Neighborhood Network. This is part 2 of the introduction to the Google Suite, where we'll be delving into the apps that go along with Google Drive. Picking up where we left off, we're going to look for that Google Drive icon, which you'll see in your menu bar as this colorful triangle icon. So Google Drive is a virtual drive that you can use to store your documents and files. It's free and it comes with your Google account, so all you need to access it is an internet connection. Google Drive is the home for Google apps like Docs, Sheets, and Slides, which are similar to Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. When you open a new Google document in Google Drive, all of your work will be saved automatically. Because it is available on any device with an internet connection, you can start working on a document like your resume at the library computer lab and then finish it at home on your own personal computer. So when we go to Drive, we see this page. Yours might look a little different because I already have files in my Drive. So when you do have some files, you'll be able to just click and open them up. As you can see, the first thing I see are my most recently used files, conveniently at the top. And then there's the rest of my drive, which I have organized into folders. This is a great way just to keep everything where I can find it. If things are a little unorganized and you want to find a specific file, you can type in the search bar either the name of the document or some words that you know will appear in it. So that search bar is right up here in the middle of the page, on top of everything. So over here, you can see that we're currently in the My Drive tab, which just holds everything, all of your files and documents. And once you have folders, you'll also be able to see those open up so you can jump to different sections of your drive. Below that, in the Shared With Me section, you can see documents that others have shared with you. Below that, you can see all of your recently used documents, and then there's a Starred Documents section for any files you want specially marked for easy access. Then there's your trash can. If you want to throw a file into your trash, you can still access it for 30 days in case you change your mind, and after that, it will be permanently deleted. Below that, you can see your storage status, which will tell you how much space is left in your drive for new documents and files. If that starts getting too full, you might want to consider clearing up some space. If you want to start a new project or open a new file, you can click this new plus sign to get this menu. So you can create a new folder for organizing your files by clicking New Folder, and then you can give it a title and start putting files in here. One way to do that is by clicking New and File Upload to add new files from your computer to your drive. You can also just click and drag things from your desktop to your drive. The other options under this new section are other Google apps that live in your drive, so we're going to talk about those one by one. Starting with Google Docs, you want to click on the New button in Drive and then open a new Google Doc. If you've ever used Microsoft Word, then this page should look really familiar. This is basically a blank document where you can work on anything you need. At the very top of the page, you can see that this project is currently untitled, and if you want to change that, you can click to write the new title in here. Below that are some settings and other functions, and under this is the formatting bar, where you can change things like the font you type in or the size of your text. This blank white space is the body of your document, where you can start typing when you're ready. Anything you type here is automatically saved. Unlike Microsoft Word, there is no save button, and when you're done, you can simply exit the document and all of your progress will be saved in Drive. So you can do that just by exiting out of this tab and returning to your Google Drive. Something that makes working in Google Docs a little easier are templates. So when you first click on that New button in Drive and scroll down to Google Docs, you'll see this arrow at the end of the line. When you hover over it, you'll see Blank Document, and below that, From a Template. Templates are like pre-made documents that you can fill in with your own information, and they're already formatted to make your work a lot easier. So you get a lot of different options when you click on this for cover letters, resumes, newsletters, essays, and plenty of other documents. So if I click on this resume template, I get this pre-made document, where I can now fill in my own name and job experience. Another helpful feature of Google Docs is the sharing feature, and this actually works across the entire Google Suite. Sharing lets you give permission to others to look at and even edit your documents. You can even work on the same document at the same time as somebody else who's in a completely different location. To share your document, go to this blue Share button in the top right corner. This window will pop up when you click on that. On this first line, type the email address of the person you want to give access to. It should pop up right below that, and when you click their name, you can choose what level of access to give them. So if you make them an editor, they can do anything you can, including edit the document and share it with others. Commenters can only leave comments, but they can't change anything in the document itself. And viewers can only read the document, they can't comment or edit. After you choose their access level, you can leave a message in this big box to tell them what you're sending and what you need them to do. Then just click send, and everyone you added will have this document in their Google Drive too. You will still be the owner of the document, meaning you can click the share button and change who can see the document and who can edit it whenever you need to. So that's what you need to get started on Google Docs, and now you should be able to create and organize those documents in your Drive. Another file type to think about is Google Sheets, which is pretty much the equivalent of Microsoft Excel. This app lets you organize and analyze data, create lists and budgets, and a lot more. So again, we want to press this new button in Drive, and when we go down to hover over the arrows next to Google Sheets, you have the option to work from a template. The options here will let you create budgets, to-do lists, rosters, calendars, invoices, and a lot more. If you don't need those, you can also work from a blank spreadsheet. To navigate this, you're pretty much making columns and rows, labeling them, and inputting the data or info that you have to work with. Just like Google Docs, you can use the share button in the top right corner, now it's green, to share the documents with others. The next option for creating files is Google Slides. Much like PowerPoint, you might use Google Slides to make slideshows, presentations, photo albums, and more. So use that new button to open up your options, scroll down to Google Slides, and if you click on the arrows to see the templates, you'll see that you have a lot of options for different styles and presentations. If you just want to work from a blank slide document, you'll be brought to this page where you can still edit and change the format of your presentation. Over here in Themes, you'll see samples of all the different options, and if you click one, your presentation will change to match it. When you're happy with your choice, you can click the X button in the corner of that little window, and if you ever change your mind again, you can go to your toolbar and click on Theme to get it back. Generally, the first slide is your title slide and will have the title of your project or presentation, but if you want to change it for any reason, right next to Theme, you'll see a Layout button, and if you click that, you can change the format of this or any page. Then, to add words, just click on the text box and start typing. If you want to add more pages, there is a plus sign on the left end of your toolbar. You can click on that directly, or you can click the little drop-down arrow to choose the format you want for the new slide. If you want to add images to your slide presentation, click the little square with the image icon. It's on your toolbar beside the T box. You can upload an image from your computer if you have one saved and ready, or you can use the Google image search option to find a picture that works. So those are some of the basic functions of Google Slides. Another really helpful element of Drive is Google Forms. With Google Forms, you can make surveys and quizzes and use your email account to send them around to people. To start a survey, just press the New button and drop down to Google Forms. Again, you can either start one from scratch or from a template, and you have a lot of options when you do that. So if I start a new one, it opens a page that looks like this. So right now, this is an untitled form, and by highlighting the top line, I can change the name of my survey. Under that, you can write a description or clarify the purpose of your survey, and then you can start writing your questions and the answer options. Beside the question title, you'll see that you can change the format of your quiz. You can make it short answers, paragraphs, multiple choice, and so on. To add answers for multiple choice, for example, just click the field marked option A and type an answer. When you finish the answer, click Add Option on the next line and repeat until you have all the answers you need. Below that, you can also decide whether or not a question is required by highlighting this little dial. On the right side, you can click the plus sign to add more questions, and then just click between them to decide which one you're editing at a time. At the very top of the page, you'll see that you can customize the theme of your survey with the paint palette icon. So you can change the background, the color, the font, and even add an image. Next to that icon is an eye, and clicking this lets you preview the survey as others will see it. So that preview will open in a new tab, and you'll just have to exit out of it and come back to editing the survey after you've looked it over. Below those, you'll see that this quiz has 2 pages, questions and responses. So after you send this quiz to people, you'll be able to see how they respond to each question by going to this response tab. Right now it's mostly blank. To send the survey, click the send button in the upper right. On the line marked 2, type in email addresses. Separate them using a comma, and when you're done, click send in the lower right. You also have another option at the very bottom to add collaborators. This is different than sending the survey for someone to fill out. This sends someone the survey as you see it. You're basically sharing the survey with someone else so they can make changes, add questions, and see the responses. So that's your basic intro to Google Forms. Next up is Jamboard. Jamboard is a unique collaborative tool that works like a virtual whiteboard. You and your guests can post virtual sticky notes, write messages, and share images in a common space. You can get to Jamboard by clicking New in your Google Drive, and this time you want to scroll down to the More option, and you'll find Jamboard at the very bottom of that menu. A blank Jamboard space like this will open up, and in the top left corner, you'll be able to add a title. Beside that, in the middle of the top line, you'll see that you can add pages just by clicking the right arrow. And then you can use the arrows to jump between your multiple pages. In the toolbar, you'll see that you have an undo and redo button in case you make any mistakes. You also have the ability to zoom in and out, and next to that, you can change the color of your blank board. On the left, you have a toolbar where you can choose how to add to the Jamboard. The first icon allows you to write with the pen option. This isn't like typing. You'll literally be drawing onto the Jamboard by dragging your cursor across. Clicking the second icon lets you erase, but again, a quick way to go back on mistakes is to click that undo button up top. The tool after that is your regular cursor, which lets you click on things and move them around. You also have sticky notes where you can type and the text appears like it's pasted on a note. You can insert images by uploading them from your computer or doing an image search. Below that, you can make different size circles, and under that is a text box where you can type words like usual. Last is a laser tool that works like a laser pointer. This doesn't leave any permanent mark on the Jamboard, but if you're sharing the Jamboard with someone else simultaneously and you want them to look at something, this might be a good way to let them know what you're working on or what to pay attention to. Jamboard can be an effective way to encourage collaboration and brainstorming during a virtual meeting, or it can be a doodle pad and a brainstorming tool just for you. Jamboard shares like any other Google app. So just click the share button in the upper right corner and add email addresses. You can also, in the share window, click copy link in the lower right and then paste the link in the chat of a video meeting or into an email. So that concludes our tour of the Google Suite and some of its many apps. Google Suite is pretty user-friendly overall, but it does take practice. Take some time to get familiar with the different apps and feel free to play around in the suite. And remember that you can always hover over buttons to see their function. If all else fails, you can always do a Google search to answer your questions. That should be everything you need to know to get started on the Google Suite. Thanks so much for watching, and do check out some of the other videos in our digital literacy series, where we talk about Gmail more in depth, along with Zoom and Windows 10.